Hello, welcome to a little hangout with me in the great outside. It's fairly quiet for Scotland, which means that it actually is quite windy for everywhere else. I'll show you about. You can't really see the prettiest parts around here, but I had to kind of try and find a place where I can film and the wind is a bit less. Anyway, you don't care. But look at this pretty footage of where I am. Absolutely love this space. We go here quite often now because it's one of the few places, I guess, that is fairly nearby, but it's also, it's still possible to find a spot. It's not too populated. Absolutely eons ago, I've asked you if you have any questions for me for a little Q&A. It genuinely has been months. Logan's looking really fabulous as well, but I can't really, maybe I can show him. Fabulous. He's doing art. He's being an artist. I'm here doing my June project. If you don't know, I kind of spoke about it a little bit, so it's not really like a secret at all. All to do with color and reading and living according to the color as much as I can. I'm currently on light gray. The most light gray thing that I really have around me currently is literally just Diet Coke. But I will say, I will show you all the shore here, and it is filled with light gray rocks, so we're just gonna count it. Anyway, all that, highly irrelevant. I just thought maybe we can do a little chill video where you just sit down with me, because that June project is not gonna get done anytime soon, I don't think, and we can just chat and catch up. I feel like it's been a really, really long time since the last catch up, so I brought you outside in Scotland for you to just join me, have a little breather, I guess. So bring yourself a beverage, maybe a snack, and then we can hang out. Oh, I forgot my lipstick. Oh, great. So the first question is kind of on theme for what we're doing now, but what is your favorite thing about living in Scotland? Honestly, probably nature. Not that I've seen an overwhelming amount of it. Would like summers to be a little bit warmer. I've grown up in a country with all 4 seasons. I'm very spoiled for choice, especially when I moved here and everything is just like slight autumn vibes. This year we seem to be having a better luck, so when the weather is nice, when it's just really hitting it, you really just can't go wrong with places like here, the beach, and even going up north for the highlands. It's just so beautiful when the sun hits. It's not often, but I guess it makes it a little bit more special. Other than that, I think it does get quite romanticized. A country like any other with, flaws and issues, but it is very beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. How did you come up with the idea for the Readathon? Obviously, I didn't want to continue in the path that I was because of a certain someone. And their nonsense on socials. Did not want to continue in that route, and I didn't really want to let it die there because I have put so much effort into it. It felt a little bit sad to let it die, and I know it doesn't compare, obviously, but I just wanted to create my own world, and I took a lot, well, not a lot, but I took a little bit from the world that I had created when I was maybe like 11. I did this funny thing, which now I could kind of see as a type of a readathon, minus the actual reading, but it was more so like quizzes. I did that to my friends. Now looking back, it was a really odd thing. No one around me was doing it. I don't know why, but we used to like to just kind of live in our own little world, and I created this system in a different world and would post letters for my friend. Well, not post, I would literally give them to them in like the hallway of the school, but in like an envelope and everything. There were supposed to be like letters from this different world saying that you've been selected, blah blah blah, here's a test, if you pass it, if you don't, this what happens. It was, I guess, like a little adventure. So I took some stuff from there because later on I started writing a little bit around it. Other than that, I play a lot of video games and obviously read a lot of books, and creating a world when I was trying to write was my favorite part, funnily enough, because my favorite thing about reading is characters. And I actually get quite bored reading about the world in books, but ironically that is my favorite part of actually trying to write. I keep saying trying to write because it didn't go very far, but maybe one day. So that's just kind of how it added up together into the thing that it is now, and hopefully it's okay-ish. That's what I'm aiming. My bar to meet is okay-ish, and if I'm there, I'm good. Would you rather travel into the past or the future? Absolutely the future. I don't have anything in the past that even intrigues me a little bit. It all sounds kind of crappy. And there's so many things that were sad and unfair and just overall not very fun, especially going back as a woman. Could I go back as a man? Even then, I wouldn't want to. I definitely want to go into the future. Not that I do think that future is not bleak, but I would want to go so far into the future that space travel is a norm. Absolutely would love that. Or just to experience the point of like first contact. If I could just hop onto that bit, I would, with no doubt. You offer that to me, I will take it. Sorry, Logan. I will leave you behind. Actually, no, you can come. I'll just make up my own rules here. Oh, favorite lipstick, right. I genuinely only use two on a kind of regular basis. So the first one is this one that I have with me. It's, I feel like a Butu Guru. It's Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury. And the other one is the Kat Von D Bow and Arrow, I think. I desperately need to get a new one because that one is an embarrassing amount of years old by now. But those are the two that I use the most and I think suit me the most. And I do have a red one, but I don't have a perfect red one yet. So, some questions about my glasses, which I do actually get fairly often, so I might as well address it here. It's no secret at all. I even worked with a brand before. It's TIGN Eyewear, I believe it's spelled. Yeah, that's where they're from, an online store. A frequently asked question is, how am I? So first of all, it's very nice of you to ask. I've been better. I've been worse, maybe. It's been a rough couple of... Every time I say this, I want to say days, then I want to say weeks. So actually, maybe months, and then I think maybe years. But you know, we loll on. We just hope for better. It's fine. Today I'm fine. You know what? Yeah, let's answer in that way. Today I'm fine. Yesterday was a good day as well. So I really can't complain. I mean, I did cry before we got here, but other than that, I think I'm fine. Am I fine, Logan? Mm-hmm. What's my all-time favorite nonfiction? So nonfiction is not necessarily a genre that I have read a lot in, so it always is a little bit difficult for me to say which one is my favorite because I just don't think I qualify to narrow it down. You know, like if you only read like 5 in total, the best out of that 5 is not necessarily even gonna be good. Outliers maybe currently, but so I'm still on a mission. I do want to read a little bit more. I'm always in two minds because on one hand I feel like it's very saturated with authors that take advantage of those who are seeking advice, and that obviously doesn't land very well with me. I do, however, think there's obviously a lot of people who are much wiser in specific topics and subjects, so it would be very snobbish and very ignorant to just be like, no, I don't want to read nonfiction because all nonfiction is shit. Because it isn't, and you would probably lose on a lot of, like, you can't know everything about everything. And I think people who are hyper-fixated on one particular subject and have worked in fields of those subjects and are very knowledgeable are really fascinating, and it's always very interesting to see their perspective. So I do want to read more nonfiction, and I am very interested in doing that more. So maybe in the next Q&A I will have a better answer for that question. But currently I think Outliers was quite nice because it really normalized, or like kind of tries to explain to you how people who are seen as outliers in a sense of, you know, you call someone a genius or someone who got to be a millionaire or a billionaire, and how they got there and what factors led them there. And apart from, you know, charisma and the wits of whatever they have, all of the external factors that basically made it much easier on them. And it was really interesting. I think if you also feel bad about yourself and where you are in life, it's kind of like a fun book to read because it can make you feel better about not achieving certain things. And that was an interesting kind of side thing that I got from it as well. If you could meet any author, dead or alive, for only one question, who would it be and what would you ask? I feel like I should have like a witty, fun question here, but if I am honest, I don't want to meet author. I don't want to. I love reading, obviously. I don't know if you know, but I like reading. People are messy and people can be disappointed. I am happy with the information we're given. I feel like the information we are given is the amount that we're supposed to have. I love to speculate, so that maybe is also a reason why I wouldn't necessarily want to. The only one that I can really think of would maybe be Patrick Rothfuss for The Name of the Wind, because naturally that was and is my favorite, hopefully is my favorite book. But it's been so long that I actually don't remember enough to ask a question, and I have a feeling that he probably wouldn't answer because it would probably be spoilery or something. So again, I'm okay not meeting authors. I am happy for them to have, privacy and just live their lives, and they'll have more time to write if they don't have to talk to me. So that's probably like a bit of a weird answer, but I'm kind of okay. Why did you decide to study abroad, and did you plan on staying, or did it just happen? I don't know. I don't think that I understood the gravity of the decision that I made when I made it. I knew if there was a very good chance that I will be staying, but I probably saw it as like a 60-40 type of percentage of the chances. I wanted to leave the place I grew up at. I always thought that it really rounds a person when someone like travels and experiences other cultures and lives in other places. And I actually still stand by that. I just think it is very character building. I think it takes a certain level of, I don't know, adventure, I guess, to like leave everything behind, not knowing anyone who you're going. You don't even know the language to the extent that you're probably supposed to know the language, or at least that was in my case. I did have a good level, obviously, that was actually tested, because you can't actually get into a university without proving that you can comprehend the language at the university level. But it still was a big shock, because obviously you can learn the language, but you won't know the jargon, or you won't know certain phrases, especially as I was learning kind of like British, like British English, but I went to Scotland, and obviously there's a lot of different dialect bits and sayings and everything like that, and it was different. But no, I didn't necessarily plan to stay, but I also didn't plan to leave. I just went and wanted to see where we go from there, and we didn't go far. I studied at one city and then moved to Edinburgh right after that when I graduated. As for why, yeah, I just wanted to experience different cultures and just wanted to kind of test myself, I guess. But I definitely do think that I didn't understand the gravity of my choice, because if I did, I probably would have hesitated more, chosen a country maybe carefully, although I don't regret the choice for the country. I don't know if that answers, but that is the answer. What genre I am currently preferring? I think sci-fi, always. I want to be a sci-fi advocate because I feel like it's such a unloved genre for the amount that I think it should be loved. I do like fantasy. I am currently a little bit tired of fantasy, so I am sticking more to contemporaries and sci-fi if I can choose to. I'm a little bit burnt out with fantasy currently, but I know it'll come back to me. It is one of my favorite genres, but sci-fi, I just don't know if I ever get tired of it. Shows, books, I just love it. But I will say I probably don't read it enough, or like not as much as fantasy, because of obviously the amount of choices. So it's easier to not get burned out, if that makes sense. Recommendations for someone struggling with chronic migraines. So I'm not really sure what sort of recommendations you're asking for, like any tips and tricks or reading recommendations, but I guess this is a good place as any to say that I am planning on opening a second channel. It's called G the Earthling, same as my chronic health Instagram that I've abandoned, which I knew would probably happen, but anyway, it happened. Do I need more things to make? No, but also I do feel quite limited on this channel because I do obviously primarily talk about books, and I am a slower reader mainly through my health issues. I don't have that many hours in a day that I am okay to read. Then I don't, on top of that, I don't have enough hours that I'm okay to film and edit and all of that stuff. And obviously that will add up to that with the new channel. But on the other hand, I have more things to say, hopefully somewhat worthwhile, maybe not. It's just going to be a place for some stuff. Health things are definitely on the list of the things that I think would be fun and maybe useful to talk about, but also just like things like just the cats and board games and D&D and other things that don't quite fit in here. This Q&A probably would fit there better as well, but I'm not really started there yet, and I need a video here. And another reason is that, again, as I said, I don't get to read as much, and my content really relies on me having had read something, and I think it will be a good place for me to just go and post other things if I can and want. And also hopefully a place that I don't fixate on numbers as much and just have fun with fellow nerds and spoonies. And so anyway, I will link it down below. There's nothing there yet. So very exciting. But I am actually very excited because it's a different thing. I've not tried it before. Will it go somewhere? I don't know. Will I actually do it? It's like 80% chance currently, so keep that in mind. But I do hope that I actually keep up with it, but we will see. We'll see. So in answer to your question, I do hope to make content for that because it's what I experience. June is Pride Month, obviously, but also Migraine Awareness Month, which is so fitting because I've been born in June. So I think it was just fated and I should give up. No, but yeah, so I do want to try and talk about that a little bit. So if you have any questions about that, it would be very useful if you left them down below. I would love to hear what you're actually thinking about it and what you would like to hear. And if nothing, that's totally fine too. What do you do for the living? Also love your videos. Thank you very much. I work full-time at Fairies since 2018. Many years now. Many years with a wonderful team. And I am a creation manager there. So I work with artists, I curate the boxes, obviously that's the main thing. So I work with a lot of suppliers and trying to navigate COVID since what it feels like forever. And I know it seems like it's over, but oh boy, is it really far from that. So far from that. And then obviously I do this and I have my amazing Patreons and I do that. And other than that, what I do for a living is sit in pain. I sit in pain. I sit in pain for the living. Oh, what's some of your favorite movies? Oh boy. I do think I am actually more into TV shows now. TV shows is the only thing that I can normally do during the migraine attacks because it takes my mind off things and there is more hours to do that than a movie, because a movie is just too short for me. I have outgrown movies. I just like TV shows because you get to be in the world for longer, you get hooked for longer. I just prefer those. One of my favorite ones is probably still Dark. It's basically what I like to think of dark matter. Oh, I just realized it, literally the titles are similar, but what dark matter is, but in a TV show, there's a lot of differences, don't get me wrong, but I just really like the vibes in both. I just watched Stranger Things, so that is obviously on my mind. I do like that, but that's definitely not a hidden gem by any means. Oh, I have so many, and yet I have none. The Boys is also really good. Probably an acquired taste, not for everyone, but for us. For sure. That's actually another video that I will happily make on the other channel because I have so many. I have watched more shows than I have read books, for sure. And that is, again, largely because that's the only thing I can do during a migraine attack. I just need something to take me out of my head as much as I can. I obviously still feel the pain and all the other symptoms, but if I'm not too dizzy, that is where you're gonna find me. On the sofa with the TV on. So I'm very happy to make a list of recommendations. There's some comments that are just being very nice to me, so thank you so much. I do see them. There's like no questions, but just saying nice things. So thank you very much. That's very nice. What are your go-to comfort reads and comfort rereads? I have still not reread anything, I feel. But do you plan on it? And there's like, oh, I just stabbed myself in the throat, so it's probably going to be red in a second. Do you want to reread The Raven Boys? I do want to reread Themis Files, Dark Matter, because I think it's been long enough now, and The Name of the Wind. So I don't know if those are my comfort reads at all, but those are the ones that I want to reread the most, I think. And for the comfort read, it really will depend on my mood. And I think contemporary is easier for me to get in. So I think I'm going to say that, which is odd because it's definitely not my favorite category of reads, but I'm liking it a lot of the time. Anything that's easy and doesn't require too many like brain cells, I think that is a comfort read. Or something that's, I don't know, cozy. Sometimes it's too cozy. I think I'm a little bit cynical as a person, so it gets a bit, it doesn't mash up too well if I'm reading something that is too wholesome. I think that is why I have such a hard time with middle grade. I don't know, something's wrong with me. I'm just a bit broken, and that's okay. That's fine. How would you describe your aesthetic? That is a question of the millennia. I don't know. I do not know. I think there's such a weird mixture of a couple of things. Like there is like cottagecore, and then there's like goth, and then there is just kind of messy goblin a lot of the time. Goblin core, that's a thing, right? Portsy, literally a lot of the things and nothing consistently. Inconsistent is my aesthetic. But obviously we have like the moon and stars thing that's probably stuck with me for the longest when it comes to an aesthetic, but inconsistency, I think, is my aesthetic. Favorite magic system? I used to say elemental. I've changed since then. I have grown. I actually think my favorite magic system is one I've just not read before. Something unique that you sit there and go like, that is really cool. I've never seen that before. Which obviously is such an unattainable thing because everything and everyone has been, and everyone, everything has been done by now. So it's a very hard bar to reach. But, you know, something that I have personally not read before is a bit of an easier thing to find. So anything a bit more intriguing. So Sanderson does a lot of that. And I also found N.K. Jemisin does that in my eyes. So that kind of vibe. I've shifted once more because I keep trying to like get less of the wind, but it's really picking up. So that's not great. How did you and Logan meet? I feel like I answered this question so often, and honestly, it's not a very unique story at all. We met at university because we both attended the same one, and it was a house party. So nothing extra romantic, for sure. Have you watched Arcane and the Legend of Vox Machina TV series? Yes and yes. I really liked both. Probably Arcane a bit more, but that's because they probably had a bigger team to work with. I have a feeling. Maybe they didn't, but I really liked Arcane. And I also really like the other one. What is one genre you don't like but wished you would, and why? Not a genre, but an age category, and that is middle grade. I think there's so many amazing adventures to go on to, and it's obviously like very wholesome, and there's quite a lot of quick reads, and I think it's great for like keeping up inertia and not getting burnt out with fantasy, like what is happening to me sometimes. So I do really wish that I had a better kind of record with middle grade. Did you go to uni? Yes, I did. And what did I study? I studied psychology. How are Zeus and Momo? They're fantastic.
They are fantastic.
They're fantastic. What's your hair and skincare routine? I didn't think anyone would care about that. But if you guys do want to know my very uneducated opinion on what I do, again, let me know down below and you can go into the new channel. What was the process of creating Eldia? It's so awesome and detailed. Thank you so much. My process is always kind of like similar, and that is I will mull it over in my head without making any like kind of clear progress for months, and then I will panic work and do everything in like 3 days. So that is my process. But by that point, like I kind of have a very clear idea, but I just need to put it into words. And putting it into words is my least favorite part. I like thinking about it, but not doing it. Basically, that's why I always panic work. But that does work. Like I'm one of those people who will work well under pressure, but I'll not enjoy the pressure by any means, but I'll do it. How do you oh, that's an interesting one. How do you maintain your accent while having just British people around you? I don't actually feel like I have to maintain my accent because it very much is not going anywhere. It just does not leave me. I couldn't even put on a fake British accent to like fit in if I wanted to. I mean, I can, but it will literally be a joke. It will be offensive. It's not gonna be good. So it doesn't actually require maintenance. I think that is really funny because it's putting it in a way that an accent is something that is nice to maintain, which is a very different view from what I'm used to. People just kind of not liking the accent. So it's actually a very nice comment. So thank you so much. Like as if it's something to treasure, you know? That's cute. I like that. Did you know anything about filming, editing when you started YouTube? How'd you learn? I knew a little bit because similarly how we did with the stories with my friends, with the quizzes and everything, me and my best friend used to make little videos for each other. So I did know a little bit, but it was literally one of those, I don't remember how I even edited it, but it was one of those really old cameras that you would have to like the big ones. And I think I edited it in like Movie Maker. So I had no idea how to work with Final Cut Pro, which is what I use to edit my videos. And how I learned is mainly just by messing with the system. And also there's so many videos online to kind of search for whatever you're stuck on. So it was literally just bit by bit. And for the cameras, again, primarily through YouTube tutorials is what I learned. And even now, like I know the basics and I used to take photos a lot. So I knew the basics then. I did learn from some of the books that I bought on photography, but I learned things and then I'll literally forget the technical stuff. So I'll have to do it all the time because I'm not consistent with it. But yeah, online. There's so many knowledgeable people, again, that are making videos. And it's great. Do you have the brain type with a constant voice inner monologue, or the void-like brain? That's the funny thing. I think we spoke about this with Logan recently. I have the inner monologue, and Logan has the quiet, peaceful mind. Can't relate, but I wish I did. Do you still consider yourself an expat, or does it pass with time? Asking as an expat too. I never considered myself an expat. I considered myself an immigrant. An expat as a term I never even came across until fairly recently. Yeah, I never considered myself an expat. I always labeled myself an immigrant, and it aligns with my experiences. Some good, some not so much. But to answer your question though, because I know that's not the point of it, I don't know. I'm always in between. Like home that used to be home when I was growing up stopped being home a very long time ago. Home is now here. There's always going to be part of me that's, you know, home is there back then. So I have no idea. This is always like a very packed question for me. I think a lot of people struggle with that kind of national identity if you lived most of your adult life somewhere else. Like all of my 20s were in here. I moved here when I was 19. I was literally fresh out of high school, and I'm turning 30 this month. But so I don't know. It's always complicated because I just don't know. I feel like there's a weird spot of sun in my face, and now I'm just too close to you. Wait. So I don't know. It's hard. It's a weird one. Oh, that's a fun one. What has ultimately been your favorite thing about making videos? Finding the people. I know that's cliche. I'm mainly talking about the little community that we have, and Patreons especially, because they have been a very needed crutch that I did not expect to have. Mainly mentally, because I really attracted so many chronically ill people, and it is that kind of case of like attracts like, and the benefit that I had no idea going into creating Patreon and creating a Patreon Discord, the side effect of that I never even considered was just how understood I would be. Living with chronic illness, I think the biggest thing that not a lot of people talk about, I guess, is just the sheer loneliness. Like, it doesn't matter. Logan's very understanding, but he will never understand. And talking with people who do provides like such a weird comfort, even though obviously you don't want them to suffer, but it provides you such a comfort that it literally brings you to tears. It's just like a really warm hug, and that's absolutely the best thing that has come out of me starting YouTube. A completely unexpected side effect, but a very welcomed one. Favorite ice cream flavor? I think maybe salted caramel. If I could have a dog, what breed would you choose? I don't think that they are very popular here, so I don't think this would actually like come out to be. But I think that sheepadoodles are adorable. Do you have a diagnosis about your health issues? I have a lot of diagnoses. I have a lot of diagnoses and no proper treatment plan is where I'm at now. But we're hopefully gonna change that soon. It's just taking up until like, 7 years or so. So that's very nice and it's great of them. Have you already met someone that was a follower? Technically, but I think this is probably meaning, have I been, recognized or something? And to that, not so much. I know only a couple of times, and only in places where there's, highly concentrated reader spaces. So I think once in the Schwab event, and like once at Yalk. And that's it, I think. Oh, that is very nice. Your designs and art are amazing. Thank you. I do not feel like I deserve that. Were you self-taught? Absolutely. I think it shows. But I could just be like giving myself a hard time. But thank you. That's very nice. Are you going to get a dog soon? Not soon. Not soon. But I do believe if I live long enough that I will. Do you think you would ever collect different copies of a favorite book? Like, I have 41 Jane Eyres. Wow, that is a lot. You can make a whole throne of that. I'm not the biggest fan of collecting multiple. I just feel like I struggle with shelf space already, and I have a lot of shelves. I don't need a lot of, I think I'm just not too fussed. I love beautiful editions, don't get me wrong. So if I get a more beautiful edition, I will normally get the other one into a charity shop or gift it to a friend, but I don't need multiple ones unless they mean something. So if someone, if I got a very beautiful illustrated edition or something, but the previous one is sentimental or a gift from someone, then I will keep it. And that's how I end up with a couple of duplicates on my shelves. But if you look over my shelves, there's not an overwhelming amount of duplicates. But I also understand if you are a collector collecting different editions, I think it's fun collecting them in different languages as well, so I get it. Oh, that's a fun one. On Fairy Loot site page, there is a drawing of the team. Is one of the fairies you? Yeah, yes. I will show you which one. What profession did you want to do when you were a child? I wanted to be a vet. Absolutely, I'm not built to be a vet. I sob like there's no tomorrow at the slightest sad story of animals that are not even real. It's I could not handle being a vet, so props to the actual vets. There's quite a few questions about Arcane, so I think I posted this about the time that it came out. What's your favorite Lithuanian food or snack? Can be traditional or just popular in the country. There's a couple. The pink soup, right? Obviously, summertime. I probably will make that later this month. I'm really hoping for pink color to come up so I can make the food. So that's obviously always been my favorite. Again, an acquired taste because the base of the soup is kefir. Not everyone likes that. But I also, since I moved out, not so much when I lived there, I didn't really think about it twice. But since I moved out, the Lithuanian dumplings, I miss them so much and so dearly. And also just dark bread is just not a thing here. And I really miss that quite a bit. And especially fried dark bread with garlic. Oh, like a garlic dark bread. Ooh. Oh, something you don't like about being a creator in book community. There's actually quite a list. I feel like there's bound to be a lot of things people don't like no matter what they do. There could be a real sense of isolation as well when there's a lot of things happening. Not being a healthy creator also puts pressure. Well, I put pressure on myself to keep up with other creators that I just realistically cannot meet. So it's constant kind of disappointment in yourself. So that type of thing is not fun. And there's obviously drama. There's always drama in all the communities, and never been really a fan of that. With a lot of other things going on in your life, you just don't have the energy for that. Okay. Has stopping Harry Potter content affected your channel? Yeah. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. It has it's so many ways. I think it was like a ripple effect. There's been people who unsubscribed, which is absolutely fair enough because they were clearly there for the Harry Potter content. But what did happen that was probably worse is that there's a lot of what YouTube will call like dead subs, which are just like inactive, like they'll never click on the video. So that then tells YouTube that my content is not interesting to my subscribers, so it's going to be even less interesting to people who are not subscribed, making the algorithm not favorite over other videos to push for new people to see. And that really rippled over time, and everything is just going downhill. It genuinely, if you look at the number game, I'm talking about that, everything has gone downhill. That obviously affects compensations from sponsorships and stuff like that, and obviously the AdSense revenue. So it affected the channel in multiple ways and affected my income in multiple ways as well. But you know, it is it is what it is. Can Logan pronounce your name?
Not very well.
You don't need to tell my full name. Logan can pronounce my name, but not entirely correctly. Let's just say that. What does he call you? He calls me my name for the most part, I think. He also calls me G, which is also funny because no one ever called me G until I started calling myself G, and that was for YouTube channel. What else do you call me, Logan?
Beeb.
Beeb. We call each other Beebs. Oh. Beep. Beep. Wanted to be part of this. Favorite places, sites to get good jewelry. You have such cute stuff. Thank you. My favorite jewelry store is Regal Rose. This is from Regal Rose, as well as this. So the two things I am wearing are from Regal Rose. Overall, there's probably like stuff from multiple places, but Regal Rose are the ones that I kind of find myself going back to the most. And then the last thing is, do you enjoy living in Scotland? Yes, I do. Minus the, you know, xenophobia and NHS failing. And what else? The rising prices and Brexit. But that's not Scotland's fault, actually. I'm not going to fault Scotland for Brexit at all, because Scotland actually voted to stay. But it's beautiful. I love it here for the most part. I think you won't find a place that everything is perfect ever. It's just not an expectation that can really be met. Especially if you're like me. I have a lot of expectations about everything and it always bites me in the ass. That includes myself. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was very mainly life focused, actually. There were not that many book questions, but thank you guys so much. I really truly hope, because there's been like 50 minutes, maybe more, of the footage, probably more actually, like an hour of footage. And if you can't hear me at all, that will be very devastating. Hope you have a wonderful day. Let me know what sort of videos you'd like me to film. Help a girl out. I'm struggling. I also want to thank and welcome the new Patreons. So these are people who either just joined in the tiers or upgraded to the top 2 tiers. So thank you so much to William, Manuela, Susanna, Franziska. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering these. I'm very sorry. And Ashley, thank you so much. I'm so excited to get to know you more, and I hope you will enjoy the space. Okay, now for sure. See you next time. Bye. I'm gonna go into the sun because I got really cold here.